Okay, I'm going to go over both Lab 5 and Lab 6. So Lab 5, let me do it clear. If you go into Lab 5, there is a pointers.txt. This one is probably going to be a little easier than your previous one. I am going to start you with int x, basically some code. Let me make this a little bigger for the people back there. X equals 7, int, remember AR is type int of 5 elements on the stack, and those are the 5 elements. That's how you do static initialization in C++. Answer each of the following with exactly one line of code. You may always assume the previous lines of code were executed before the current one. So declare pointer T1 that's initially pointing to X. Declare value X to be 33 without using X. Obviously, you're going to have to assume that your previous line had completed. What's that?
That refers to it as is active up top in the instructions. So I'm assuming that's not.
Are active, right. Are active, they've already been executed, same thing. Who's lost? Tyler?
It says Lab 6 up there.
Oh, that's such a lie.
It's actually Lab 5, right?
Yeah, let me fix that now. Woo!
I mean, it's right in GitHub and everything.
Hold on, I just realized I didn't put the due date. January 29th, when is it? It should be the 30th. It's also 27, no, I got 2018, I got that part right. Okay, well, we'll do it in this mode. Okay. So declare a pointer named P2 without pointing to the first item, to point to the first item of ARR, and it's going to continue on with different questions. If these are confusing to you, please review the pointers lecture. Again, you must understand pointers or you're pretty much going to fail this class. So here's another exercise to help you out. It's due a week from today. Yeah, all right, let me go ahead. Add pointers, git commit -m lab 05 update, and let's go ahead and push it. That usually means I'm not connected to the internet. So once I can finally get connected to the internet, I will go ahead and push that. All right, lab 6. Okay, so this is going to be your first programming lab. So everything I told you beforehand, where the auto grader is going to dictate the highest grade you have, and then I will go and inspect if I need to deduct any points from there. So make sure you get everything hooked up and working correctly. This is how you hook up the webhook, which is what you use in order to hook into the auto grader. So first off, I'm going to step through this just to make sure everyone has it. Load up your favorite web browser. I just realized I'm not connected to the internet, am I? Nope. Denied. Oh, I'm on Wi-Fi. Oh. Sure, I accept the terms. Okay, good. Now I'm on the internet. Maybe. This is what I love. Okay, good. I love that website. It does everything it can to make that background running, right? Everything else will fail, but that background's going to keep going.
Always.
Always. It will go. All right.
You can't Google nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, first, let me become my alter ego. I did sign up, right? Good. So let's sign in. Not Professor West, but Paul of the West. Perfect. Sign in.
Is that like your username when you play Counter-Strike?
Yep. You've been shot by Paul of the West. All right. So let's see. Here we are. Hey, look, I don't have much in here. That's okay. Let's go over to settings. Let me go over to webhooks. Let me go ahead and add the webhook. Well, that's in the instructions. Go to settings, webhooks, add webhooks, and the payload URL is right here. You just copy and paste it directly from the PDF. You must select JSON. Everyone, you must select JSON, okay? JSON must be selected. The selection shall be JSON, okay? Every time I get half the class say it doesn't work and then they didn't select JSON. Make sure you select JSON or it is not going to work. All right.
What's so special about Jason?
JSON, no, I'm kidding. It's the way the content is delivered to the auto grader, yes.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't have the settings tab, it just stops at inside.
Can you scroll more to the right or? Oh, are you on your repository?
Oh,
Yeah, go to your repository that you forked. Okay, there is no secret. We don't keep secrets here. That looks great, keep it active. Click add webhook. And it's gonna take a while. So hopefully it's gonna look like that eventually. Give it a minute because what's happening is if everything's working correctly, which most of the time happens, but not always, by adding the webhook, GitHub has informed the machine back there behind y'all that this repository wishes to be hooked up to the auto grader, so it's going to try and check it out. Let me go ahead and refresh, and let's see if it came up green. Came up with a check mark. That's great. I can click on it. I can scroll down, click on one of the deliveries. Click on response, scroll down a bit, and it's going to say checking out Paul the West repository, nothing will be graded this time. Great, so it checked out my repository, the machine confirmed that, hey look, I got it. So if you get to here, you're at least hooked up to the auto grader. Everything else might be other issues that may come along. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and close this and try and go into my code. Now that I'm hooked up to the internet, let me go ahead and push my latest change. Good. And I'm going to go courses, csci 31, whoops, not courses, grading. csci 315, Paul West? Or do I not exist yet? I don't exist. All right, let's go ahead and clone me. Okay, or don't clone. And lowercase b. Now we'll go and clone. Great. All right, so this is my alter egos repository. It only has lab 1 and 2, which means we need to add remote. So I'm going to do git remote-v to see what I have. So git remote add upstream. And let's go and copy this. That part. csu-cs slash the rest of it. Good. Now I can do git pull upstream master. Pull the rest of it, and there it is. You can go ahead and push it so it gets pushed back up. Perfect. All right, now I have all the labs. I'll go into lab 06, do an ls. Actually, by pushing afterwards, the auto grader might actually come back. Let's see if it did. Give it a couple more chances. Nope, okay, good. So it didn't. All right, so now we're in this directory, lab 6, added the webhook. After the first push, I say wait 5 to 10 minutes. You probably can notice it took even less time than that, but you should receive a grade pretty quickly. This lab is just a review of C++. All right, we are hopefully not treading any new ground here. Just really, the point of this lab is get you used to using the auto grader and get you used to at least writing some C++ code. We're not even going to write a C++ object in this one. We're just going to implement, I believe, 4 functions. What are the 4 functions? Count negatives. I'm going to give you an array, and the size of the array, you return the number of negatives in that array. Everyone okay? All right, good. All right. Find the minimum odd value. Give you an array, give you the size, give me the minimum odd value in there. Return -1 if there is no odd value in the array. -1 is odd. So negative numbers can be odd. Keep that in mind. Search. Search returns the index in the array where the value is found. Return -1 if the value is not present. So the array of the size, the value, return the index that value is located. Okay, the index where it is located. Removes an item, and of course -1 if the value doesn't exist, because obviously index -1 doesn't make any sense. Lastly, removes an item at the position by shifting later elements left. So y'all remember, if you try and remove something from the array, you basically just move everything after it down by 1. Is everyone familiar with that, or is that new? So is that new?
It's still the same size.
It's still the same size, that's correct. I'm not changing the size, I'm just saying move it all down. So,
So you don't get that.
all right. So if we have the array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everyone okay? Good. We're going to remove, I'll call it int x equals that. Remove x, the size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma 6. And we're going to remove the element 3. Afterwards, x will equal 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 6. What did I just do? I just shifted these guys down by 1. By shifting those down, I didn't delete that last 6 because I didn't change the size. You can't change the size of an array. Well, let me rephrase that. We're not going to change the size of an array. It's actually a very complicated process. So the new array is just 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and the last one's 6. But that's okay. Everyone see that? All right. Okay. And, oh yeah, that's it. Okay, great. So those are the 4 functions. Let me go ahead and jump back. We're doing a quick array review of arrays with C++. How is the code set up? I've actually set up a lot of the code for you. I don't have time to go into your new makefile, but keep in mind that your makefile has been updated. It looks a lot more complicated, but next class I'm going to finish up going through what this actually means. This is going to simplify your life a lot once you understand what it's doing. Okay? Just believe me on that. I've set up test cases and how to compile the code that you want. So if you get out of here, we'll talk about what that is. If I were to just type in make, look, it automatically creates an OBJ directory, compiles your arrays.cpp to an O, and then compiles your object with the main CPP into a final test, so you can actually run it if you want to. Well, that's nice. If we look inside of SRC, you notice you have arrays.cpp, arrays.hpp, and main.cpp. It's important now that you do start separating things with HPP and CPP. Wait, just really. Have y'all been doing that in procedural? No, okay.
Do what?
Having a header file? So, does this look familiar? Well, that's nice and tiny. Sure, 13. If not defined, define it. Here are the headers, and then endif.
No.
Am I getting, okay, this is the sea of empty faces. All right. We'll get into this. I need to make sure I finish soon, so you all have plenty of lab time. I want to make sure you all have lab time. But this is just declaring, hey, C++, these functions exist. You'll find them at some point, but they exist. Trust me. That's really what you're saying. Just trust me, these exist. Well, where do they exist? What's that? Somewhere. Well, luckily for us, they exist in arrays.cpp. Hey, look, count negatives, find min odd, search, and remove. Notice that the declaration of the function is in one file while the implementation is in another. Yes?
Does that mean you put your prototypes in one file and then you put this on your
Yes.
actual?
Your prototypes, or your declaration of what exists, is in your header file. Prototypes is a good word. Your actual implementation goes in your CPP. In Java, it was all one code, one file. In C++, it's important you make it two separate ones. That's because C++ is a one-pass compiler. It is not going to search your code to try and find it. Java would do multiple passes. Okay, so you pretty much just edit your code right here. Try and get it right, commit it and push. So count negatives, sure, we'll guess that it's always one negative. The minimum odd, maybe it's negative, let's say it's 3. Obviously this isn't right. We'll go and I'll save that and we'll just try and pretend like it exists. Arrays.cpp, get commit-m source arrays.cpp. See if I can push it. If you ever get this, a lot of errors, don't just go crazy, guys. Stop, read it, because a lot of times it tells you what to do. For example, hint, e.g., get pull before pushing again. OG, let's type in get pull. Okay, need a branch? All right, let's save that. Now let's try and push. And if the, oh look, it worked. All right, error messages, Git is going to try and help you out. So actually, what did that pull give me? Well, it gave me an auto grade, which was actually the grade from submitting nothing. Which for this lab is actually going to give you something greater than 0 because it's such a simple lab. Don't expect that to happen again. But we're going to go ahead and wait for the new grade to come, get pull, and there it is. There's, oh, that's a new auto grade. Can I pull it again? Okay, so if I do vim grade.txt, here we go. This is how the auto grader is going to look. Oh, first off, sorry. When the auto grader comes back, it's going to dump a grade.txt file in your lab directory. That is the grade that the auto grader is giving you. If you open up this txt file, it'll give you the breakdown of your grade. For this one, or at least this is your starting point grade, it's going to run some tests. So count negatives. You've had 3 failures. Gave you some points because one of them passed. Hey, you lucked out. You guessed the correct answer to one of them. Find that odd, plus 0 points of 25, so you got none of them correct. Remove test. Looks like you got half of them correct out of guessing. Good job. And then the last one, you got one of them right, the other 3 wrong, I guess. So total grade so far 25. Now, this only happens for this first lab because it is so simple. You're just returning yes or no. So obviously, if you guessed correctly, you know, you're going to at least get some points. For this one, I am going to manually inspect your code. So if you didn't write anything, the 25 will become a 0. Just keep that in mind. But as you put your code in, you can at least kind of see what you got right and what you got wrong. Naturally, count negatives. Once it says 25 points out of 25, you've got credit for that. You can move on or do something else. You can push as many times or submit as many times as you want to the auto grader. There's no limit, or at least there currently is not a limit. Right, there we go. Sometimes, if you have an issue, I'm going to ask you, what are your test cases? You right now do manual test cases because I don't have time to teach you the other way. The other thing I may ask you for is your run number. Your run number is not in your lab directory. In your root repository, you have an autograder-out. If you open it, it'll say my run number is 16. That is what I'm asking for. Because whenever I run or compile, it always creates a separate directory of specifically your code, my test cases, and what happened. And that way I can at least inspect what's going on. Okay. And let me not put that in there. There we go. Any questions about the auto grader? I'm sure you're going to have plenty. All right. This should be due. I'm going to change that to the 30th, a week from today. We'll talk about CSX test gen next class as well as make files, and then we'll go into your next lab, which is really just wrapping this inside of an object, which hopefully y'all can do by now. Okay. Now, yes, got 2 minutes. Any other questions? Okay, great. We'll go ahead into lab time. If you have questions, just I'll be here to help.